Have you all been wondering about the cultured food that I've talked about? So what we're going to do today is we're going to do the cheese. And the only difference with how I make the cheese and how I make the yogurt is the cheese is thicker. I make it thicker. Now you can make this with tofu as well. Rather than, cut your cashews down and put tofu in it. And it just, as I said, it cultures beautifully. So we're going to use cheesecloth, just like cheese making. And this right here, this is the finished product here, which I'd like to put on a plate. Here's a plate right here, but it's kind of warm. That one. Are there some scissors, or please? Now this little thing here is a cheese making deal, and you just order it online from cheese making. And what it is it has, this is the basket, which I will put in my first stage of this. I will put the cheese just in the cheesecloth in the basket, and then put something heavy on it. Put a plate, or this thing has, I can put like cans or rocks or whatever I want. And then the first stage of the cheese making, I will end up, we're going to make this mass, this medium, bacteria medium mass, and then I'll put that in there, and then put something on it to weight it down, and put it over a bowl so that it can drip and begin to drain. And I do it for about 12 to 24 hours outside, like I do the yogurt. And then I put it in the refrigerator, and I'll let it cure for as long as I want. I mean, I've kept it for 2 and 3 weeks. So the longer you leave it in the refrigerator, wrapped in cheesecloth, I change the cheesecloth while it's really moist, but as it dries out, I don't have to change the cheesecloth as much, and it will become firmer and firmer and firmer. And then finally, you have a cheese that you can cut chunks of. The longer you age it in the refrigerator, the firmer it gets. So this one right here, they made this, I think they must have made this on Sunday. So by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we've had 2 days really for it to do this, to get this way. So you can make it a lot firmer. Okay, so let's start making it. May I have the blender, please? And thank you. Do you have a bowl or something that I can pour it into? Okay, so this is the one made with all cashews. And it's basically the way we did this yogurt. And this one has miso. Miso also has cultures in it. So, and it's the fermented tempeh. And I was thinking about this, and I wanted to ask Dr. Furman, because when I do it with soy, I ferment it. Aren't I then just fermenting soy? So I don't know if there's a special process that creates this really cancer-fighting, like what the miso has, this cultured soy, fermented soy, but I'm fermenting soy. So I did lemon. Basically, it's the same ingredients we did for the yogurt, except it's going to be a lot thicker. Glad I've got that water there because I may need it. Yes, let me see if it's up. It's up here. Let me go to. Thank you. Okay, so I need the plunger, please. Thank you. This one you really, if you have a regular blender, it's hard to do this kind of stuff in a regular blender. Because I'm going to make it pretty. The thicker I make it, the shorter time it takes for it to get hard. You can make it, you can take your yogurt and put it in a cheesecloth and drain it and turn it into cheese. It's just going to take, it takes longer because it's got more water in it. These were not soaked, so I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. down to low now. There. So I've just turned that down to low. I'm going to add the soy to it. I just am looking at the texture. I've done it this way and it's good, but I like it more with the tofu, and I'm just going to show you all how to do it with the tofu. Thank you. So I'm just going to put, like with this much, I'm going to put this much tofu in here. It's probably about the same ratio we had for the one tomorrow. Make a whiter cheese too. That's good enough. So now, spatula, thank you. See how thick it is? Thank you. Look at that, see? It's very thick. Almost like a paste. And what I do is I put it in here, and I want to mix that probiotic really well. And I'm just, like I told you earlier, I don't know why. Maybe you all want to try blending the probiotic in and see if that works just fine. Because it probably does. I don't know. I always think I'm going to injure the bacteria. Not very scientific, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm not going to scrape that out completely, but okay, so now we're going to put, the more cultures you put in there, the faster it's going to do its thing. So I'm going to put 3 in this small amount right here. And it will firm up. These cultures will firm it up. Okay, so I would normally use a whisk just to make sure I get it in there really, really well. Okay, so now let's take this one out so we can use this again. You'll see what it looks like. 2 days, 2-day-old cheese. This is still a pretty soft cheese. You could also use this cheese with making your ricotta. Add some of this to it, just like I did. Except you might want to do it all in a bowl. If you're going to make a ricotta where you add cheese and things to it, just do it in a bowl and then spread it on your lasagna. Thank you. So is that not amazing? This is a cultured cheese. So again, it's good for you. And then if you leave it, while it's moist like this, if you just have to change every day you want to change like I've done this, I would have just put it into another cheesecloth and then put it into the thing and then stick it in the refrigerator and just let it age because it's getting dry from this. So here's the way we do it with the cheesecloth. Well, Well, you're going to get to taste it tomorrow morning. It tastes cheesy.
Cream cheese?
A little bit tartar than that, but it's similar. So I'm going to line this. You can do it in a strainer. You don't have to buy this cheese making kit, but I like it because I like the rounds that it makes. But you can just do it in a strainer. If you do it in a strainer, it's going to be dome shaped. That's the only difference. But if you're going to make it just a soft cheese and put it in a bowl or something, it doesn't really make any difference. I guess that's enough. Okay, so you can do 2 layers. I've just done this. This is 2 layers. So that should be sufficient for something this small. Put it in there for now. And so then you just pour this in there like this. And so this is the first stage when I'm using the cheesemaker thing. It smells very cheesy. Can you all smell it at all? When you have it in your kitchen, it will smell cheesy when you have it in there like for 12 to 24 hours. I think we've done ours that you're going to have tomorrow. I think we will have done it about 18 or 19 hours.
So if you leave out the lemon juice, will it be less tart?
It'll be less tart, yes, but it will probably still have some tartness, but it will be less tart. If you really want to make it taste more like a cream cheese, then maybe leave out the lemon juice.
Have you found a low sodium miso?
The white miso is the lowest sodium.
Okay.
There are some studies about the miso and even the sodium in it. The compounds that are in the miso seem to counteract the sodium. I've read this. Okay, so this is my little cheese making thing, but you could use a plate, a plate that will fit in here or fit in your. And so I'm going to put this in here, and then I would put maybe some cans because you want to press it, and then you want this up over, like this bowl it kind of sits down in, so you wouldn't want that. Something more like that. And then you're going to put cans or something heavy. I do a jar with beans in it, and just leave that out on your counter. Just set it out on your counter for 12 to 24 hours and let it do its thing, and then take it out of the cheesecloth, put it in a fresh cheesecloth, and then put it in the refrigerator, and then just do if you want it harder, I have some that we've had in the refrigerator for 3 weeks that got really, pretty hard.
Just in the cheesecloth, not in that maker, right?
I do it in the maker but then it comes to a point where it won't press down. Nothing's going to come out of it anymore, and then I just put it on a plate with the cheesecloth. I don't cover it with plastic or anything because I want to dry it out. Then I just put it on a plate in the refrigerator, back away, and just let it sit in there for as long as you want. And sometimes I'll let it sit in there. I'll cut a piece and have some, and then let it sit longer. And that's basically all. What you could do is you could take fresh chives or herbs, press them. If you're going to serve it for guests, press those around. Out flowers pressed into it. You can just do like that Sweet Hungarian paprika pressed on it. The spicy paprika. Anything you want just to press into it or garnish it to make it look pretty. There's a picture of some we've already eaten on it, you can see, before we took the picture. But I just have that with some dried fruit.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Beautiful.
So now you don't have to give up your cheese.
No.
I should get an applause for that, please. And do you know how expensive this stuff is that you buy in the store, like Kite Hill and I think Forager, and they put a bunch of salt in it. It's so salty you can't even eat it. And it's, $9, a little thing like this? Just make your own.